Today we're going to be looking at an elf. Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel Kazzalistic, and hi to my new subscribers. I've had a bit of a jump, so thank you to everyone that's pressed the subscribe button. My apologies for the chirping. Chip is a little bit vocal today, so I apologise ahead of time. So today we're going to be looking at this little guy. He's basically called an elf doll, but he's made to look like an elf on the shelf. Now I've had some of you, when I mentioned it in my last video, actually asking what an elf on the shelf was. Now I don't have kids myself, so I only know what I've sort of picked up through friends on Facebook. But my understanding is that you have one of these little guys. This one looks fairly like the shop bought ones, and you sit them on a shelf or somewhere where the elf can be watching the children, and they report back to Santa whether you're being naughty or nice. And it's a way of trying to get children to behave and not get overexcited on the run up to Christmas so that they don't misbehave. So I think it's a really clever idea. Now a lot of people in more recent years have actually made the elves mischievous. So every night when their child goes to bed they set up something so that the elf has been up to mischief. So there might be toilet rolls strewn everywhere, or balloons blown up, or sometimes people set them up with toys that he's been playing with, and sort of all sorts of things. Sometimes he leaves notes for the children. So I think it's a really cool idea. I think it's a good way of adding to the run up to Christmas, making it a little bit more magical. I do miss being a kid. I miss all the magic of Santa and stuff. So this is what he looks like. So if anyone if there's anything I've missed with the elf on the shelf thing, then please put it down in the comments so everyone else can read. I've just sort of said what I know. This is what he looks like. Now I have had to improvise with the white parts where the eyes are, and made that up myself because the lady used felt and I didn't have any, so I will go into that in a second. His legs are bendable. His legs and arms aren't stuffed. Obviously the body and the head are. You can bend his legs, and there's a little bit of bend in the sort of ankles, so he can sit quite nicely. I can't really do it very well on my hands, but you get the gist there. Okay, so the pattern I use, this is actually a free pattern at the time that I'm recording this, and it's called Elf Doll, and it does acknowledge that it's inspired by Elf on the Shelf, and the pattern is designed by Mary Smith. So there's the details. That's what hers looks like, and as you can see her eyes look completely different to mine because she's used felt. This pattern also comes with a skirt. I've chosen not to use the skirt at the moment. It may be something I'll do in the future, I don't know, because I'm actually going to keep this at the moment, because we do have children to visit, and sometimes it's handy to have something like this to watch the children, to make them behave while they're here. So so you can make it into an elf girl, particularly if you've got little girls, and they're more likely to respond to that, or you can just do it without the skirt, and the skirt basically you can take on and off. So I haven't done mine with the skirt, but that's the pattern. I'll put the link for the pattern down in the description. Now because she's basically, this is in US terminology. So if you're in the UK, you will need to translate it. And basically the yarn that she's used is Hobby Lobby I Love This Yarn, which I think is a number 4 worsted, worsted weight, which is about our Aran weight in the UK. I've used the DK because amigurumis, as long as you use the right size hook, to be honest, they just come out a little bit smaller or bigger depending on what yarn you use. So I haven't overly worried about it. The stitches involved are a chain stitch, single crochet, half double crochet and a double crochet. You'll need to know how to increase and decrease both with single crochets and half double crochets. You'll also need to know how to work in the back loop only and the front loop only. So in UK terms you're talking doubles, half trebles and trebles, and how to increase with half double. So sorry, half trebles. I'm a bit tired, forgive me. It's been waking up a bit early the last few days, and it's playing havoc on my brain. I'm kind of fighting a migraine at the minute, so you have to bear with me. Okay, so the pattern starts at the feet. This does involve magic rings. If you don't like magic ring, you won't like this, but you could change it to a chain 2 and work in the second chain from the stitch. Oh dear, second chain from the hook even. Oh dear, but I've done it magic ring, magic loop, whatever you want to call it. So it's just a few little increases. It is a little bit fiddly because you've got about 4 stitches to start with in the magic ring, and then there are very slight increases. When you get to row 16, you work in the front loop only, which basically enables his knee to bend. That's how that's done. And then it's basically some increases and then straight single crochets. So that's pretty straightforward. Then for the body, I do like this pattern because there's not the main components, apart from the head, which involves a bit of sewing. Pretty much most other things are done in one, so they all join basically. So the legs and the body and the head, as in the base of the head, are all basically become one piece. So you flatten your legs. Now I am going to just show you her pattern. I'll try and do this without showing too much. So you flatten the legs, and then what you do is you work around. Trying to see how I can explain this without giving too much of the pattern away. So you work, you single crochet the legs closed through all the layers. So basically you have 10 stitches. So 5 in one leg and 1 in the other. So basically you're working straight across, and it becomes, so you work 5 stitches in the first leg, and then the next stitch will be the other leg, which you then basically are joining and work across. You get 10 stitches. Then you work in the front loops only, right the way round, from one side, so what is the front, and then you turn it, so you're working in a spiral and working the front loops only the other side, so you end up with 20 stitches. So it will basically look, so you'll get, basically it'll end up like this. So your legs are then joined to the body. Then you work basically the body up. Most of the body, to be honest, are pretty much, it's mainly straightforward single crochet for most of it. There are some slight increases, sort of obviously initially down here, but it's pretty much straight single crochet. When you get to about this point, you start decreasing, and it decreases in. I do apologise for Chip, she's doing my head in today. She's protesting because I've shut the door so that the noise doesn't travel from the other room, because my friend's watching TV and obviously I don't want to get copyrighted, and she sits on the door. She likes to sit on the door, and she's peed off because I've shut the door, so that's why she's protesting, so sorry. I know it gets a bit annoying after a while. So you then decrease up into this point, and then you change colour. Now I've used a flesh colour. I mean, it does look quite washed out. Hopefully this is white, this is flesh colour. It is very, very pale pink. It does tend to come off white on camera, which is a little bit annoying. So you change to your flesh colour, and then you work in gradual increases, a couple of straight rows basically, and then decreasing, and then you stitch up the top. Obviously you're stuffing as you go along. You only need to lightly stuff the body and the head, so it doesn't take much stuffing at all. Then for the eyes, which I did attach the eyes before I sewed up the top and before I stuffed it. Now what I've done for my eyes, if I did them again, I would actually make these actually smaller. So I've had to make a note of it because I wouldn't remember otherwise. So I did magic ring, and I put 5 single crochets into that. That's US terms or double crochets if you're in the UK. And then the second round, so I worked in a spiral. I then did 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 in the next one, 1 in the next one, 2 in the next one, 1 in the next one, slip stitched and fastened off. So it's all double crochets if you're in the UK. But I think if I was to do it again, I would just do magic ring with 5 single crochets in. I think it's come out a little bit too big. But I was eyeballing it and I had to attach it before I sealed up the head. So there's a little bit of touch and error. She uses a felt piece, but again, you don't have measurements. So again, you're going to have to eyeball it. That's the only downside to the pattern, my only real criticism. She does tell you where to attach the eyes. I think she does anyway. I said that and now I'm not sure. Yes, it says between rows 27 and 28. So it's just tell you roughly where to position the eyes. So I've used safety eyes, and then so I've got them in place, and then I've stitched round these after I've obviously sealed the head up. And then did the mouth with just a couch stitch. Pretty simple. So from there to there, and then just pulled it down and put a little stitch in there. The hair, now she's got, I'll try and do this without showing you too much pattern. So it gives you an idea of how the hair is constructed. It's just basically lots of up and down and back and forths. The only thing is I did find is a lot of the hair, the hat was a bit bigger than I thought. So as you can see, I haven't actually got much of the hair showing. So just be aware of that when you do that. Oh, the other bit I've missed, I do apologise, is the nose is actually part of the pattern in the head, and it is a bobble stitch. She does give you full instructions on how to do that if you've never done it. So the nose is actually part of the face, so again, that's one thing you don't have to attach. The ears were basically, they were really simple, little dinky little things. The chain 2, slip stitch into the first chain and fasten off. So I've weaved them through, and I've used the sort of amigurumi tying off method to secure both of them. Super cute, really quick and easy to do. The hat obviously starts with a magic ring, 4 single crochets, and then basically you're steadily increasing, changing to white, and then you've got 4 rows of white. So the hat is done separately, so you do need to stitch the hat on. So that is another sewing piece. And then the basically all that's left after that is the arms and the collar. So the collar is basically a chain, and then you single crochet across it. And then the third row, it's basically 3 rows. You do chain 3, and then this is for the points. In the second chain from the hook you do a slip stitch, and then the third chain from hook you do a single crochet, which is a double crochet if you're in the UK. You basically work that across and fasten off, and that gives you this cute little collar. And the arms, again you start with magic ring, so you're starting from here. Again, it's like the legs, it is a little bit fiddly because you start with 4 stitches. Again, this is all single crochet US terms, or double crochet in the US, and you're doing 5 rows in the white, and then you change to red, and then you're basically working up. Most of it, there are some slight increases here and there, but on the whole most of it is straight single crochet. As you can see, there's not a huge amount of increases there. You then flatten the tops and stitch them onto the body. I think I've put them a little bit further back than this should have been. I did take one off and restitched it, and it still ended up the same place, so I just gave up. But that was more my sewing than anything, so I think perhaps they might have needed to come a bit further around, but I don't think it looks too bad. So I stitched those on first, and then I stitched the collar in place, which was really quite simple. And that's it. Yeah, so it's cute. So I'm going to be keeping him. Obviously, like I said, there is a skirt which would be in white and red, but I haven't attempted that. So the hook that I've used is a 4mm hook. For the eyes, I did use a 3.5mm hook for the white bits that I invented. Oh, and the other bit I've missed off is you do have to stitch some little eyelashes in, but that's pretty simple to do. So the yarns I've used, the red was a a new ball that I've started, so I've caked it up. There's still loads of it left. So this is a fairly good scrap project as well. So I've used Mariner Double Knit in the shade 042 Red. This is one of the new codes. Mariner Double Knit again. And this is for the hair C-040 Chocolate. This is an older code, but brown chocolate is chocolate. For the head, I've used Mariner Double Knit. Now, I've had this ball for ages, and I've got so many amigurumis out of this in the shade Flesh. I don't even know if they do this anymore. This is one of the older labels, so I don't know if they still do it. So I'm trying to eke this out as long as I can, but it is a very pale pink. And then obviously for the white parts, again, I've used Mariner Double Knit, and it's the shade 040 White, so this is a newer code. And I don't know if you'll be able to see, but there is a difference. That's coming out fairly well. So this is the Flesh colour, so as you can see there is actually colour to it, although it often looks washed out on camera. So that's all the stuff that I've used. Now, we had debate whether to send this off to Woolly Hugs, a charity here in the UK, but we've decided for, this is my friend and I, if you're new to the channel, I'm a full-time carer to one of my friends. So we've decided to keep this, partly as Christmas decorations because it's cute, and partly in case we do get children visiting, because hey, it's a nice thing to help parents out with, and obviously help children pay. So for the time being, we will be keeping this. If we decide not to keep it, then it will get donated to Woolly Hugs. This is why I've used the Mariner Double Knit, because it's from my own personal stash rather than my charity stash. So yeah, so he will be staying here, so he may pop up in future videos, who knows. So that's it for the craft section. I hope that was all explained clear enough. Like I said, I'm struggling with a bit of the start of a migraine at the minute, so it's trying to talk when you're in pain is not easy. Life update. Trying to think what I haven't really done a lot really since I last spoke to you. I don't know if I said, but I did get my refund, and that's now gone back into my bank account, so that's a big relief. So I've been able to order my medication and stuff like that, so that's all been a huge relief. I have started Christmas shopping today, dun dun dun. So we're getting there very slowly. I'll be glad once everything is, you know, bought and ordered and stuff, but we're starting to tackle Christmas. I don't know that there's really much else to tell you really. I'm still waiting for my hospital appointment. I do have the date for it, which will be before Christmas, but that's not, we're not even in December yet, so it's obviously a way off yet. Trying to think if there's anything else. Isn't it funny, you think, what have I been doing? Do you ever do that? What have I been doing for the last few days? One day is pretty much like another. I think crochet is pretty much the thing that punctuates my days. From this, you know, what project I'm working on is slightly different. Yeah, so I don't think there's really much else to tell you. Sorry, it's really boring. I do have a boring life, unfortunately. I think most of us do, don't we, if we're honest. So I'm going to end it here. So the next video will be a yarn haul, which was very kindly donated by Lucy Coates. So keep an eye out for that. I'll probably put that video up on Thursday, just so you're getting one every other day, just in case you're missing me. And yeah, after that, I'm hoping, depending how much time, I've got quite a busy week this week, but I'm hoping, I'm working on a Christmas banner. If you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I like my Christmas banners. I've done some, I did some last year, so I found another one that in a different style that I haven't had before, so I'm working on that. I'm trying to do decoration. I'm going to be aiming, I think, predominantly for decorations this year, mainly because they're quick and easy, and I've got so much to do this year. This time last year I was pretty much organised, and this year I'm really not, so obviously I'm going to be more time constrained, so there'll be lots of decorations, but the banner will probably, hopefully, be the next thing if I get time to finish it. So yeah, so I'm going to finish there. So until next time, remember to stay well, happy crafting, and until next time, remember to stay true to yourself. Bye.